Friends, Zen Kun here. So what I'm going to do is show you two potent moves for your lower body. We're just going to be using a longevity ring, but you can do this once you get the basic movements down. You can use a kettlebell, you can use an Indian club, you can use a steel club, you can use a mace, you could use a dumbbell, you can use any kind of weight that you like. So the two moves that we're going to do are the dragon lunges or dragon steps, and also the seated step. Now I'm at a spot here that is at an angle, so it's going to be a little bit more challenging, but that's why I chose it, because it's a little bit more challenging. As you're learning these moves, make sure you do it on a flat surface to start with, because it'll be easier for you. So here we are, we're doing a stand. And you can see that I've got one leg bent, one leg straight, but on a flat surface, I would be just standing straight altogether. So here I'm just adjusting to my angle that I'm on. So a dragon step is basically a crossover step. So you step over and sink down. Now, as you sink down, what's happening is you've got the one knee is going to come up right at the calf here. So these two legs are pressed together and the heel of the back foot is off the ground. Now with your ring, you can press forward and back up. Step back over. So then what do? You step on the opposite side. So you make your crossover step. Then you take this back leg and you bend the knee and you slide it right behind the front leg and slide down. So you see what I've got here? Then this heel in the back is off the ground. Push your ring forward. Step back. Okay, so the idea then is to do what? Some repetitions of that. So we're here, step over, sink down, press arms out, come back up, step back. So again, we're going to step right across. So you don't have to step directly to the side, it's at a diagonal. Boom, and sink down, and back up, and over. So there's your basic dragon step. Now you don't have to do dragon step just by stepping over into the front. You can do by stepping back. So we're going to step back and down and back and down. Now just for fun, let's look at some of the things you can do with your ring. So you can step back and push your ring across the body. Push your ring across the body. Push the ring overhead. Overhead. So if you want some more ideas for what to do with the ring while you're doing the dragon step, you can look at some of the longevity ring videos that I've done. So what's up next? The seated step. Now seated step is a little bit more challenging. So we're going to look at it first without the ring. And it's only challenging insofar as because the vast majority of people, especially like in the Western world or America, we just never have done this movement before. So it's a common move that they do in Qigong. So the seated step then is this. We're going to have our feet a little bit wider than hip distance to begin with. We're going to pivot on the heel of one foot, turn the toes inward. So you turn in as far as you can go. Then you're going to pivot on the heel of the other foot and rotate. Now, you can see I'm facing off this direction, but what I want to do is complete the rotation with this leg, but now I'm going on to the ball of my foot and sitting down. Back up, pivot, pivot, and finish the pivot. So that's the seated step. Now, seated step is a potent move just by itself with no weight at all, and it works ankles, knees, and hips. If you have any trouble with this at all, in other words, like your balance is off or whatever, if you take a couple of sticks, so it can be your hiking sticks, it can be a 4-foot staff, it could be a couple of canes. You could put a couple of chairs to actually help you with this, but of course the chairs don't move as well. So if we go the other direction, it is this foot. We're going to lift the toes up, turn them in towards the other foot. Then I'm going to lift the toes up and pivot on the ball of the foot, and then I'm just going to sink down. The heel, you see, comes up and back up again. All right. Now, if you want to do the seated step and make it just a little bit more challenging, you can start from what we call a chambered position in Qigong, and we're going to turn, turn, turn. And then what we're going to do as we sit down is we're going to push out with one hand, and we're going to look over the other elbow. We're going to go from here to there. So it's going to look like this. And back up. Pivot, pivot, pivot. Then we'll go the opposite direction. So turn in, turn back, rotate, and then as we sit down, and back up. So I'll do that again. And once more. Seated step. So you can see we did 2 moves. Dragon steps and seated step. Both of those are powerhouse. They're great moves to do. And I just did a few repetitions. But if you begin practicing things regularly, like daily, without any weight at all, you'll start noticing hips, knees, and ankles start getting better and better and better. That is, you'll have more mobility, you'll have greater strength, and you'll have better balance. Enjoy.